this is Dorothy with That's Scrapbooking, and I am going to make a card today using this wonderful little truck stamp and thin cut set. So it's called Seasonal Haul, and so you can see that it's got Christmas presents or birthday presents, Christmas tree, pumpkins, all sorts of stuff, and these are the thin cuts that come with it. So and it's got cute little sentiments on there that you can put on the little hanging banner. So really cute stamp set. Great, great card set for making cards for guys. But also the truck is big enough to go on scrapbook pages and not get lost. So I'm of course using my intense black ink to do the initial stamping of the pumpkins and the wood side rails and the truck so that I can come back and watercolor them without any kind of bleed. And so I don't know whether I'll use the side rails or not because I don't want to hide the pumpkins, but they're so darn cute that I thought, well, let me just go ahead and stamp them and see how it goes. So I've kind of decided I've done a lot of different kinds of watercoloring, and I haven't used my pencils in a really long time. So I wanted to pull out my pencils because you get kind of imperfect coloring with the pencils depending on how you color, and I'm doing imperfect coloring here. But I'm not worried about it because this is an old truck, and you don't want an old truck to necessarily look all bright and spiffy and brand new. So I'm using my black for the tires. And you see how I'm just being really sketchy with my coloring. And got to get the frame of the car around the window. And the mirror and the hubcaps and the little handle. And I'm using grays for that. So here is my watercolor brush. This is the medium round watercolor brush. And just by having a little bit of a wet brush, look at how beautifully the color just flows. And it loses all of that scratchiness of my pencil on there. So it just makes the colors just kind of bleed together and just super, super. I always get fascinated by it just because it's just really fun to do. Kind of makes you look like you know what you're doing, which I need all the help I can get. So anyway, making the running board dark to stick out. So it's going to be black. Could have made it wood, I guess, if I wanted to. So I'm kind of using, I only have one orange in my group of pencils there. So I'm going to try to mix colors. So I'm using like some reds, and I'm going to mix the orange with it and kind of see how that works out. And I've got kind of a mustardy color that I'm going to use also and mix the orange with it. Because for one thing, pumpkins aren't all orange. They come in, there's white pumpkins and green pumpkins and all sorts of different colors of pumpkins. So I just didn't want them to all be the same color. So I'm adding some dark lines here and there, and I'm just putting some green on the stems because in my world, they're freshly picked pumpkins. And then I'm just going to go over the pumpkins and see how they're already showing that they're different colors. So that's kind of cool. And then you can come back and add some, darker lines to add some dimension to your pumpkins. Anyway, just kind of fun. And I'm using a brown, kind of looks black on the video, but this is a brown for, of course, to be wood. And God, I just love these little side rails. I see trucks like this on occasion, and they're just so cute. So if I put the side rail up, then I can put the pumpkins kind of on top of it. So I am going to use this side rail just because I like it so much. And I'm going to pop the truck up from the card with the foam tape. So the foam doesn't inhibit the mailing at all. It's just going to get squished down and then pop up. So I'm using some of the paper from the Four Seasons Autumn, and I'm using the dark brown wood as kind of a trim around there. And then this light brown fine striped paper just doesn't kind of interfere with any of the other stuff that's going to go on this card. So that's why I'm using it. It's kind of a, little bit of a texture background, without really taking, pattern that would take away from the details of the leaves I'm going to put on and the pumpkins. So I'm using my black shimmer brush to kind of maybe add something to the tires. And charcoal for the hubcaps. But I'll come back and do something different with that. You'll see. It's like, I have things in my head, but then they don't necessarily pan out the way I want them to, so then I've got to cover them up. So I'm going to use this stamp, which is actually the stamp of the month from September. And the Crisp Air stamp is just the leaves are a little bit too big. And I like the different kinds of leaves that are on this stamp set. This is a really nice stamp set. And there's also some good sayings, sentiments for the fall on this. I think I disappeared. I went to get some scraps is what I did. So I have some white daisy scraps, and I was going to throw this out, but I thought, there's always something else you can put on there. So this is a little bit very frugal here. So I took the stamps off the carry card, and I have this idea in my mind where I can, stamp the veins with the intense black, and then flip the leaf over and stamp the back of it. Just so you know, that only works when you have a completely symmetrical stamp. So I'm going back to regular stamping. And I am mixing colors here. So I've got nectarine and candy apple red and grape. And then I've got, I think, clover green. And I'm just putting a couple of 2 or 3 different colors on each little stamp. So you can see that they're different colors. So it's not as, doesn't make as much of a statement as a solid base stamp or leaf would, but you get the idea this way with the different colors, the oranges mixed with reds and greens and reds and greens and purples and just so. And then I'm going to fussy cut these stamps out. So there's a red with, oh, what is that? Maybe a little green and grape, some clover and grape in there. Anyway, these are going to be my leaves. And, I think they're just the right size for this. Let me speed this up. Okay, I'm speeding this up to 400%. You don't need to see the details of me cutting out, but I'm just kind of I'm just not doing a big round cut around the leaves. I'm giving the cuts a little bit of dimension. And just for cutting, it's always easier to cut and move your object around instead of your scissors. So that way you get a smoother, continuous cut. Just little bit of help there. And so, I'm good with these leaves. I just think, okay, well, that worked out. Okay, I didn't like the way the others came out. So, and I think I've got enough. So we've got, it's green apple. It's not clover. It's green apple, candy apple, nectarine. It's all yum. And then grape, all fruits. Yummy. Okay, so there's my leaves. So I'm going to have like little leaves falling around the truck. And I want to put a sentiment on there. So I kind of like this autumn. The fall is in the air is too big. The autumn is not a bad size. And so I'm going to season that stamp. Okay, I picked out the autumn is beautiful, let you know that there's something about change. Anyway, I picked that phrase out because it would fit on the card. And I'm using some Midnight Black Stickles to enhance my tires. And I used this silver, what is that? Silver pearl for the hubs and the chrome on the rear and along the sides and the handle and the rear view mirror. So just to add a little touch, the wheels needed something, the hub needed something. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this Autumn lets, what is it? Autumn lets us, I don't know, shows us how beautiful it is to let things go. Okay. So that is the phrase that we're using for this. And I did it in, stamped it in mocha, and I'm going to I just did a fussy cut around it, and I'm going to take my sponge and some nectarine, and I'm going to just add a little distressing, bringing in the orange color from the pumpkins on over to the autumn phrase. And I'm going to add an additional enhancement with a little bit of mocha around the edge, just to make it stick out a little bit more. And I've got some foam tape here to pop it up. And there's no interference with sending it through the mail when you're using the foam tape. Okay, and all these cute little leaves are getting tucked under. And then a few kind of free-flowing here and there. I guess I could have put a few more under the little sentiment there. But anyway, I've got my little leaves, and this one is going to go by the truck. I don't know where to put it. It should have just gotten tucked under the sentiment. But there's my card. And so because I don't want to mess too much with the front of the card, because the stickles take a long time to dry. I mean, that's all there is to it. It takes at least, 30 minutes or so to dry. And I'm enhancing the color because the color looks a little too light to me. So I'm enhancing the color, and I may come back and enhance it even more with some red rather than orange. And that's a nice thing about these pencils is you can do that. And so adding a little watercolor to it, and it enhanced the color just a little bit. Make it stick out just a little bit more. So there's my card. And, this is a great card for the guys in your life. I mean, what guy doesn't like trucks? So this can be, like I said, for some of everything, all during the year. And then, of course, I have to decorate my envelope. So I'm kind of figuring out what kind of thing I'm putting the pencils away in the meantime. So let me just tell you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like my card, or if you think my voice just put you to sleep and you got a little nap out of it, give me a thumbs up for that too. So anything is appreciated here. So I'm using the little pumpkins on the front of the envelope, stamping it in nectarine, and then I'm going to take a few of the leaves and stamp them the same way I did for the card and put them around the pumpkins. And then, you have kind of a little preview of what's coming on the inside. So it's going to have something to do with autumn. And so here's my final one. There we go. Put all sorts of colors on that one. And so here we go. There's my card and my decorated envelope, and hope you like it. Thanks. Bye. Hi, I'm Dorothy Smith. Thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and learn along with me. Thanks. Bye-bye.